Hi friends, Joseph Anthony here, and I'm going to do a quick update about what's happened in February and touch upon what's happening in March. And then I will follow up with this video with the New Moon Outlook video coming up for March the 9th. And I'll go a little bit more in depth with the charts. But for the most part, this video is like a review, but at the same time, give you an idea of what's going on. And so it's going to be important. As you know, we're going through a massive transformation, and this year is a very important year. So let's take a little deeper look at what's going on here. First off, I want to just touch base. Of course, when you become more popular on these platforms, there are people that are just scamming people out of money and so on. Please do not. I don't know who this person is. AstroJoe103, that is not me. I'm AstroJoe100. And so if you see my channel or anything like this, that is not me. I'm not asking anyone for money or, on whatever platforms you see this stuff on. Just look at the name. Also, here's another one. There's tons of scammers out there, so please don't buy into it. I will never ask you for any money or anything like that. I have one donation link in my pages below, and that's a Stripe donation. That's it, if you feel inclined. But I will never ask you for anything on these forums, so please don't buy into it. It's hard to, keep on top of all this nonsense. But just keep that in mind. All right, let's get started with the video. So here I talked about this video here where I talked about a chaotic month ahead, chaos ensuing, and there was a lot in February. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And so it all really started around the 9th with that new moon right there at 20 degrees. And it was a very difficult aspect to Uranus, which is unpredictability. And then we also had the conjunction here between Mars and Pluto right down here, which again is like the Aquarian energy. So there was a lot of volatility taking place in this time frame. And so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So if you remember, I put out this video, Solar Flash Event. And man, this is starting to look more and more like something's coming our direction with this year, because that's what I was shown. That's what the science is saying. That's what the evidence is showing. So let's see what happens. But I talked about a massive solar flare. Now, again, I did say that this could be something that it looks natural and looks real, may not be, because the technology exists for manipulators to create such a thing. And so let's see what happens, but I'm just giving you guys a heads up. And by the way, none of this is meant to scare anyone or put anyone into a fear set mindset. This is just information. And I know many of you are very smart people. You don't buy into the fear. Just, prepare yourself psychologically, emotionally, financially, however you have to. And if nothing happens, great. You've just prepared yourself for a different lifestyle or looking at the world in a different way. But don't do it out of fear, because this is the worst thing we could do right now is stay in this fear mode, okay? And then get addicted also to information. So be careful of that, folks. Take time out by yourself, go into nature, enjoy your family and friends, laugh. It's not all about doom and gloom. This is a transformational time. And so we feel the energy. We know there's change in the air. And this is a very important time. So we must keep the energy up and at least keep it in I don't want to say a positive mindset, but at least an understanding of what's happening and not feeding into the fear. Remember, that is how they control the masses, by fear and misinformation. So keep that in mind. Anyway, the big events that took place in February right here are these cosmic solar flares that took place. Okay? Now, again, because we are not scientists, we have to rely on information that's being reported to some of these websites and the space agencies. And so here we have, right around that time frame that I said, cosmic chaos ensuing, we had some massive solar flares. This was an X3 right here, X34 explosion off the sun. And that is very powerful. Anytime you see an X in a solar flare, that is extremely strong. And the higher the number, the more intense it is. And especially if they hit the Earth, because it will knock out power. It will make you feel super tired. It might energize you. It depends on, who you are and what's happening to you. But we also had several of them. We also had another M9 class right around the 10th, as you could see here. And these are, by the way, these are all from spaceweather.com. and I do subscribe to some other, information sources, but any one of these will give you the same information. Radiation from a flare ionized the top of the Earth's atmosphere, causing, those auroras. And this in turn cause a strong shortwave radio blackout. So if you know anybody with shortwave radios, you know that they get hit and all of a sudden their radio signals go out. But this was over the Pacific Ocean. Thank God. If God forbid one of these hits a major city or their infrastructure in terms of the towers or anything to do with electronics, this could fry them, literally, scorch the capacitors and resistors inside and motherboards and stuff like that. That's why it's important to pay attention and also prepare for, God forbid, the worst case scenario that we have power outages because of events like this. You see? Again, not out of fear, just being smart. That's all. And so this is something we have to keep an eye on. But all around this time frame, February the 9th and 10th, and then we had more. We had some major flares happening. These were X2s. I believe there were 2 of them simultaneously that erupted. So we were seeing like 3 and 4 different magnetic fields off the sun that were just erupting and ripping, and we're like, whoa, what the heck? And all the time frame that I suggested that there were going to be chaos ensuing. Now, when I say chaos, there is chaos around the world, especially in Brussels and Belgium and France and Germany, where the farmers are acting up. And, we see small pockets of this in other countries as well. That's their chaos. Here in the United States, fortunately, we have not had that on the streets. But, people the smallest things are acting up. And so it's hard to just report it, because you don't know what's real anymore. You don't know what's not. So we have to scour the internet and try and find sources that are credible. So, but these appear to be real because we're feeling the effects of them. I know when these flares hit, whatever it is, I automatically feel it. It's like a jolt just hits me, and like something is happening. I just know something in the magnetic field is happening, and then I go over to NOAA or space weather, and maybe an hour later, and I read X flare, right off the sun, and I know something has occurred because we're all connected to this energy, and as soon as it blows off, it's like a pulse, and you could feel it. And so I usually have to lay down for 20, 30 minutes, just to get the blood and the oxygen going horizontal, or I just don't feel motivated, like the energy and the wind has been taken out of my sails, even though I was feeling fine. And so this is the kind of stuff that directly affects us, okay, energetically, because everything is energy in this universe. So here were the double class solar flares. These were 1.8 and 1.7 explosions. These were very powerful as well. This was during a 24-hour period. So you could see this was later on the 24th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. 2 of them just ripped up. And so, we're just the month of February, like I said. Now, by the way, notice how these graphs look jagged and so on. This is the symbol for Aquarius. We were going through Aquarius. This energy was all about the Aquarius energy, okay, which represents electricity and power and sudden changes. So you could see the symbolism here that we astrologers understand. And so, again, it's all symbolic language. And so we had a very tumultuous, energetic month in February. And here is another article that I saw about these Earth-facing holes on magnetic holes on the sun as well. So again, we need to keep an eye on this if we want to stay ahead of what's coming this summer into the fall. It could be more intense solar events, which again knock out power or change something about society. Or it could be a solar flash so big that it just washes over us and brings us greater awareness because it's supercharging our bodies and it's giving us greater sight. No one really knows for sure. All I know is this is what I was tuning into. This is what many other psychics are tuning into. Many other remote viewers, professional remote viewers, are seeing the same thing. It could be all of us, on the same consciousness, or something is sort of putting this in our consciousness. and I can't discount that either. So, but there is definitely something going on here with the Earth and the Sun and magnetic fields, and I've shown you this in other videos. I also came across this picture. Very interesting, very strange. Don't know if it's real or not. That's why I put all the question marks there. Is this here or this? As Jason talks about, Jason Breshears, is this? You know, here's our little moon, but there's something overshadowing it. Something there that is so big that we can't see it, but yet it's pulling. It's doing something in the Earth's atmosphere, in right outside by the sun. You know, and that makes the greatest sense, which is messing up the energy coming from the center of the galaxy. It's pulling on the sun's magnetic fields. It's throwing everything off. So this is a very strong possibility that there is another body or dwarf star or something of that nature that's entered our atmosphere and that is pulling on us. Anyway, if you want to watch, Suspicious Observer does a great job. Ben there at Suspicious Observer, very technical, very scientific oriented, but he knows what he's talking about. And, check him out. I left this link down below. He talks about the 3X flares. So very important, once again. So let's also turn to what actually happened around that same time. We had a huge interview here. Tucker Carlson interviewing Putin. And, everyone in the deep state was losing their marbles about this. He's a traitor. He's a this. He's a that. And Putin spoke very frankly, about what's going on, including blaming the three-letter alphabet agencies for starting wars and inflicting conflict and funding, terrorism and so on and so forth. I mean, that's what seems to be going on. Remember, folks, this is a battle worldwide for information. This is an info war, and the manipulators are being basically brought out, whoever they are. And so it's as a worldwide operation for opening up information about what's really going on in the world, who's funding it, why they're causing this chaos. And again, it really has something to do with controlling humanity. In other words, if you control humanity and you keep them disoriented and in fear and you destroy, you're keeping folks at a lower vibration. And this is what's actually happening. Could you imagine if we had 7 billion people on this planet all happy? I mean, you won't be able to control anyone. So what's being exposed right now is the control mechanism of the system, of the manipulators, of the AI, the simulation that has been controlling humanity on a frequency level for many, many thousands of years. It's all being exposed. So this ties into Putin talking about what's really going on. And of course, Tucker Carlson is a part of this to unravel or disclose what's actually happening. So this was very important to see. But of course, I'll let you read this. During the interview, he talks about the three-letter agencies who are backed by this criminal organization and this place here, which controls the news agencies, the radio networks, controls propaganda. As you could see here, you could take a screenshot of this. I don't want to read this all in full. What really happened behind the scenes of the deep state, the same deep state forces that Mr. T here is fighting, and the same deep state forces several EU countries are fighting within their own governments, and corruption controlled by globalist powers who created the world wars and oil. You could see that. Anyone that's doing some serious research could see this, and so it's all about control of the resources, control of the politicians in those areas, control of keeping people in check in some way, keeping them in poverty, taking their land away, fear, kill, zone, war. I mean, this is what has been put out there for many, many years to control humanity. So Mr. Putin has been talking about it. So this one, I saw this, I had to put it up. Liberals be like, journalism, treason. They all interviewed him, but this guy is called treasonous. Again, to keep people pitted against each other, to show people how bad it really is, and, the lies and manipulations of the deep state. That's what I'm referring to here when I put this out. All right, so what else was going on in the month of February? This was a very big story, but of course, mainstream media never covered it. This guy here will not face charges over classified papers. Says memory is fine. Now, this is, if you know anything about what's going on, again, February 9th, the special prosecutor or investigator basically said that we can't go after this guy because he is too old and frail to prosecute. Basically, that's what he said. But here's what he said. Special counsel Robert Hur said in a report that he opted against bringing criminal charges following a 15-month investigation because this guy cooperated and would be difficult to convict, describing him as a quote-unquote, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Biden is in angry rebuttal, said his memory was fine. Okay? I mean, this is the kind of stupidity we're seeing here. And again, I believe this is all being orchestrated on purpose. Whoever the so-called white hats are, they're doing this all on purpose to show the people how bad the corruption really is. And so here we see another example of that. And I love the Babylon Bee. It's a satire website. Man ruled too senile to stand trial. Still fine to run the country, though. I mean, it's hysterical. I mean, I get a kick out of some of the stuff that they post on the Babylon Bee. It's just awesome. I mean, I crack up on it. Anyway, just fascinating stuff. And, you got to laugh through all this stuff. Also, this is a very strong possibility. As you know, I have already made a prediction. I don't think we're going to have elections this fall. Something major will occur to distract the elections. And so the Democrats are thinking about replacing him as a nominee. And this is what was discussed, and this is all around the same time frame. So you could see here maneuvers and things are being played out in the political theater here of posturing and exposing and possibilities here. Also, at the same time, Mayorkas was impeached in the House. This is also very big news in February. And of course, nothing's going to happen, but it's just a show. It shows that something was active in the House. And so they impeached Mayorkas. Now, why is this important? Because he's basically letting in all of these, illegals and migrants. And New York City, basically here, there's an article. I left the link down below to hand out $53 million in prepaid credit cards to migrant families. Isn't that nice? You come to this country illegally, and right away, the sanctuary cities are going to hand you a prepaid credit card. That very interesting, isn't it, folks? So this is just one of the cities. Chicago and some of the other sanctuary cities are doing the same, but I found this article here. And of course, this is online on the forums. They launched a $43 million program, pilot program in New Jersey, company by Mobile Capital Finance. Again, one of these, non-governmental organizations. A family of four could basically be provided $1,000 each month and get a card or refill every 28 days. Isn't that nice? So I have an entire new family on welfare systems for illegal aliens. And rightly so. I mean, this is totally insane. But again, I think this is being done by the so-called white hats on purpose to show people how bad the system is, and maybe to just, light a fire under the American people to say, hey, enough is enough. And that's what Texas appears to be doing, So anyway, very important. But we also have a lot of folks in the Chicago, Illinois area, especially the black folks, that are just like, hey, hell no, we're not doing this. These people didn't, they're not citizens and so on. And you're giving them out free money, and then you don't have enough to take care of the people we have in the city here. And so they're speaking up. Here's another video by Benny Johnson that you might want to check out. So again, this is just showing you, again, what is being played out here. And this is all in February. This has all been in February. So when I say chaotic ensuing, you see the energy levels rise. You see the solar flares. You see the political theater going up. And so this is all part of this disclosure, if you will. We also have another turn of events that's been going on here. Real interesting in Georgia there with the whole trial now. Fannie Willis finds herself with criminal charges and disbarment. I mean, talk about, going from the aggressor and the person that is going after Mr. T, and all of a sudden the tables get turned. And by the way, that seems to be going on in New York too with his cases there. Mr. Trump got, what was it? The judge said that he had to pay something like $400 million in fines and so on and so forth. But that judge now has some dirt on his hands as well that's being exposed. But again, this is all part of the show to reveal. But here is another very good video by Dr. Steve Turley. I left the link down below. You can check it out for yourself. Also at the same time, this criminal organization, okay, is preparing to conduct this against Russia. Okay, the Sun reported that the British Navy Vanguard submarine sailed into the Atlantic this week to launch this missile here. And so again, we're seeing that this could be another distraction or something chaotic, again, before the elections here in the United States. That is a possibility. I don't think the good guys will allow it to happen, though, So we'll see what happens. But again, this is something that we have to pay attention to because, it's all or nothing right now. The deep state is in serious trouble around the world. And, this is their last-ditch effort to kind of destroy or cause as much chaos as they can, on their way out. The other thing that's very important that we got to watch is all of this unusual insider trading alert. The Walton family selling off $4.5 billion of Walmart. All the siblings, dumping all of their stock. A lot of very wealthy billionaires are dumping their stock. And so here's just a screenshot of what's going on here, of all the Waltons selling off all of their shares, many of them. So this is highly unusual. And they're not the only ones. There are many other billionaires that are dumping stocks. They're selling their houses. They're buying properties in New Zealand and other countries. They're building bunkers. What are they getting ready for? It begs the question, what do they know is coming? And so this is, again, watch what they do, not what they say, kind of an approach here. At the same time, this was another interesting turn of events. The king of the criminal banking institution, passes away. And so this was on the 26th. And so if you know who this guy is, this was basically the matriarch of the Rothschild banking dynasty that goes back all the way into the 1700s, where his grandfather and father were ones that put everything in place today for this whole centralized banking, which is basically tied into the Vatican. So he supposedly dies. So a very interesting turn of events there. Now, remember I told you folks a couple of videos ago to watch Arizona. Something major is coming out of Arizona. Well, this woman here, Mickey Clan, I don't know how to pronounce her, but David Rodriguez did an interview with her. She basically stood up in front of the Maricopa Board of Supervisors and issued a subpoena on them. And they all shut down the meeting and ran out of the room. So you could hear it here. And she has some video around the 20-minute mark talking about this. And it's all about the sovereign, movement and how they're all basically not even working for the people. They work for the corporation. Very interesting. When you start seeing stuff like this, at first you think it's crazy until you investigate it and you go, holy crap, there must be something to this. So I thought this was another interesting turn of events as well. So again, I left the link down below. The Rapture. Now, folks that are religious and I've been reading about the rapture and the future and all this other stuff. This is the year and the next year where there is this change to the world that's occurring. And this is the Future Forecasting Group. Now, I've been following them for a while. They're professional remote viewers. They're very good at what they do, by the way. And they have put together a video here talking about the so-called rapture. And there was talking about solar events, and some of the information. They give you tidbits because they want you to subscribe to their channel. Not just their channel, but their organization, their paid membership. And, whatever works for them. But anyway, I just put this out to show you how cross-referencing material between actual psychics and remote viewers and, astrologers and anyone else that kind of sees what's coming and has a sense of what's happening is being all cross-referenced and, we're all on the same page. So this is a very interesting one. Here are the remote viewers talking about the rapture. Another video down below. And again, this is just to show you how we're not the only ones following this stuff. These guys are following it, and they're putting out some pretty good information. This is a longer video, and but it's pretty good. I would say I give them a lot of credit for doing this kind of stuff. And so this, I think, is also part of the white hat operation, where they're trying to slowly spoon feed people into how the world really works. Remote viewing, psychic ability, which is totally normal and natural to everyone. And so they're slowly awakening the masses, like I'm trying to do here, and many others. So interesting stuff that you should take a look at. Remember now, this was a slide that I used in a few videos back. The last card they will play will be the alien card, and it's all a lie. Werner von Braun. He told this to Carol Rosin in the 1970s, that this was all going to be part of the agenda, and there is the large spacecraft. Now remember, a couple of videos back, I talked about my vision that I had in 2009, where I looked up and there were a whole bunch of spacecraft and alien craft there. Now it could all be a lie, because of Project Bluebeam. Now, I posted this on Facebook. If you want to check it out, go to my page there. It's on the wall, josephpanthony.com. There's the picture. And I posted this video. This is from Dubai. And this was about an event tower that was opening, and they had whales coming out of the ocean and circling with a helicopter or two helicopters around this building before they revealed the building. All looks real. It looks so real. And people are standing there with their phones and they're recording it all, and that's where the video came from. And it looks like, like something out of a sci-fi movie. And this is the kind of stuff. It's very possible this fall, when I said we saw spacecraft everywhere, maybe they have something. And by the way, you can look up Project Bluebeam. It's using satellites and drones to triangulate and create images. And by the way, that stuff is happening in the Oriental countries like China and Singapore, where they have all these drones that are working in unison, turning on their lights simultaneously. It's all been programmed, and as they move, they create images. So there could be a giant psyop coming this fall, which looks like a solar flash or looks like a UFO craft in the air, and everyone's staring up. Again, to divert attention from the election, possibly. So major awakening happening here, folks. And so this is what I'm seeing here. So pay attention. Now, March, let's just touch upon March here, because I will follow this up with another video. March looks like some economic changes coming, especially around the new moon, because there is a Mars alignment happening, and I will show the charts, the astrology charts coming up. But there is economic rumblings occurring in March. This could be a market crash. This could be an economic change. This could be Bitcoin going through the roof. Whatever it is, there's definitely some rumblings of just at the beginning of March. I mean, I'm doing this video on March the 1st. And so this is coming again in March. And I've known about this for a while, since the beginning of the year. We sensed March, February and March was going to be very tricky. So even the remote viewers here who just came out with this video today on March the 1st, talking about what they see happening in the month of March. In other words, they remote viewed March 2024 and what they saw. And so again, there was quite a few references to economic changes. And so we'll have to see how it plays itself out. And again, I'll try and get another video out as quickly as possible within the next couple of days with the astrology kind of showing what I see happening here and tuning into it a little bit more. So, but this is very important. Again, I give these guys a lot of credit because, they're very good at what they do. Remember, they have blind targets. They are given numbers and letters. That's all they're given. And then they tune into it. And then they come up with, a lot of pictures and images and feelings and what they get. And then interesting that many of them get very similar outcomes. So this is very important. Folks, through all of this nonsense, as I say, and I say this to myself all the time, I realize I'm this spiritual being having a human experience. This is the best thing you could do, is remind yourself of who you are. Okay, you're not your fears, you're not your thoughts, you're not your money, you're not even that physical suit. Okay, it's just the cells that are being held in place. And so you are a spirit energy in the suit, powering the suit. Always remind yourself of that. And that'll get you through a lot of stuff. Okay, so that's why I have this picture and I continue to use it. If you like this video, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and now X. Subscribe to this channel, like and share, and I will do my best to keep the information rolling. All right, have a great month, folks, and I will see you real soon. Take care. Bye for now.